Each and every one of us have this wish and innate desire of wanting or having a desire of wanting to look young, at least 10, 15 years younger than our actual age. How do you achieve this? What are the habits? What are the rules and regulations that you have to follow for yourself? What are all the disciplinary practices that you have to implement for you to look at least 10, 15 years younger than your actual age? That's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. I'm Harsha Nagaraj. Welcome back. Each and every one of us have this desire of wanting to look young, at least 10, 15 years. But the desire itself is not enough. A disciplined life, a very strict food habit, a very strict routine in your life, respecting the biological clock, not going against your own nature, fulfilling your inner happiness, doing those things by which you feel alive are very, very important for you to exactly feel how you're going to feel. When you do each and everything that I've just told you, naturally the vibrance in you starts to come outside. You'll start to feel more alive. You always look stressed. You always feel like you're draining out of all the energy that is there in your life. Why? Because you are doing things and you are losing energy. The secret in keeping yourself alive, the secret in making you feel alive, the secret in wanting to look younger is by deriving energy from the work you do. Each and every work that you involve yourself with should make you feel younger, should make you feel as if you're tapping to the inner purpose of who you are born to be. If you do not do this, you start to feel like, okay, I'm aging by time. Time is running away. I don't have sufficient time to do one or the other thing. Why? Because you're involving yourself in doing those things by doing which you feel like, you don't have sufficient time to do whatever you are born to do. It is very, very essential that you follow a set of habits, which I'm going to tell you now. First thing, I'll give my own example as to what are all the things that I've done over the last 1.5 decades for me to look however I am. If you follow these habits, naturally you'll start looking 10, 15 years younger than whatever your actual age is. First, sleep cycle. It is very, very essential that you have a proper sleep cycle. You have to respect the biological clock. It is very, very essential. When the sun rises, you rise. When the sun sets, you sleep. Darkness is not knowledge. Light is knowledge. You have to go in synchronization with the nature. It is very, very essential that your sleep cycle goes along with the pattern of how the sun sets and the sun rises. If you do not have a proper sleep cycle, the body starts to fight within. It is very difficult for the body to accept this change in sleep cycle. Having erratic sleep cycle, sleeping one day early at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, and then the next day pushing yourself to stay awake till 1 o'clock doesn't make any sense. And this sleep cycle determines your entire routine for the following day also. I've had a very strict sleep cycle for the last 9-10 years, actually for the last 20 years itself. I'm a morning person. If you're not a morning person, if you're an evening person, you're a night owl, well and good. If you're a morning person, you can't stay awake, you can't keep yourself awake after 9:30 or 10 o'clock. You fall asleep and the next morning you wake up, you feel like, okay, there's a lot of things that needs to be done. By waking up early in the morning, you feel like you have a lot of time in the world in order for you to do the things that you have planned. I mean, the world moves when there is light, and why do you want to sleep when there is light? I myself make sure I wake up before the sun wakes up. You always get into a class before the teacher comes. You don't get into the class after the teacher is there. You go sit and you wait. That's the same over here. It's the same system here. You wake up early in the morning, before the sun rises, do everything that needs to be done, and then you start your day. My day usually starts at 4 o'clock or 3:30 in the morning, but if I've had a really tiring day, it starts at 4:30, but usually 4 o'clock is like the ideal time. Once you start waking up early in the morning, you start to plan everything. The entire day, I mean, imagine you wake up at 4 o'clock, you have time till evening 9 o'clock to do everything that you've done, and the whole world is functioning at the same time. A lot of things that you want to do and on that particular day can be done. You'll be done with that. Having a very good sleep cycle keeps the mind balanced. Once the sleep cycle is regulated, there's a proper sleep cycle, you sleep at a particular time, you wake up the following morning at a particular time, then the consumption of food becomes disciplined. You would want to eat the meals at that specified time. The second thing, breakfast, lunch, dinner are the three important meals of the day, not just the breakfast. Breakfast alone is not the important meal of the day. All the three meals of the day are very, very important. Your body will crave for the food. Let me put it again. Your body will literally crave for the food if you start respecting, all the systems inside you. You have a proper sleep cycle and you go along with the night and day and the sunrise and the sunset. You wake up 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, you finish all your morning chores, you definitely want to have breakfast at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, maximum 9 o'clock. And then you start to work, and then you have a specified time duration where you work for 3 hours or 4 hours of deep working happens, and then you sit for lunch, you take a break, you socialize, and then again you get back to work. And then again you work for 3 hours, and then you take a break, a coffee break or a tea break or a snacks, whatever it is. I am not a coffee drinker at all. I don't even like the smell and the taste of the coffee and tea. But no offense, I'm not telling you guys to stay away from it. You like coffee and tea? Go ahead. I prefer juice. I prefer a salad. I prefer fruit rather than caffeine. So I stick to these things. I say I completely stay away. I've completely stayed away from caffeine. I would have had coffee maybe 6 or 7 times in the last 33 years of my life, because I would have been in a situation where I had to have a coffee in order for me to sit and have a conversation with this person in front of me. I have stayed away from coffee. Yeah, as I said, I do not like the coffee. I do not like the smell of the cocoa also. I do not like chocolates. I don't like coffee. I don't like sweets. Not because it helps me to keep my weight. It's just that there's absolutely no inclination in me to consume it. There is no desire. See, whenever I do have it, I have it because there'll be social obligations. But apart from that, I have understood, okay, the body doesn't need it. The mind doesn't need it. There's absolutely no need. But sometimes, cravings do come out. Sometimes the craving of wanting to have a sweet after 1.5 years just comes out. Then what do? I go, I consume, I finish that desire. By time, even that will fade away. It takes years and years of practice for anyone to achieve the discipline with respect to freedom. But having a very, very strict routine, having a very particular allotted time for you to consume food, it is very, very important. Breakfast, lunch and dinner has to be had at the specified time when the work is being done. See, you can't just eat breakfast, do nothing, eat lunch, do nothing, have dinner, do nothing. Doesn't make any sense. You'll definitely put on weight. You have to either engage your mind, you have to put your brain to work, or you have to do the workout that is needed for you to burn everything that you have eaten. A lot of people, all of a sudden you start following a vegetarian diet after years and years or decades of improper diet, and you expect something to happen in 1 or 2 months. It's not going to happen. It takes a couple of months for the body, for the internal system within you to get adjusted towards it. It is not that easy. You have abused your body. You've put it under so much of pressure over the years. When you start to inculcate, when you start to practice new habits, your body just rejects it outright. Your body says, no, I don't want to follow these new habits. Why? Because you have made the body to respond to all the crap that you've been feeding it over the years. The body is not ready to accept the good food that you start to, put inside your system. The mind says no. The taste buds, they say no. This is how, this is where the psychology of the food also comes in. You have to train your body, you have to train your mind, you have to train your senses to understand that whatever food that you're consuming is for you to stay healthy. And when you follow this system and come to an understanding saying, the food that I'm consuming is for me to keep healthy physically and mentally, your perspective with respect to food changes. I have a very, very strict routine when it comes to eating food. And as a result of which, I have never put on weight for the last, 12 years for that matter. The body mass, the muscle mass has increased, but with respect to weight, it's the same. There's a lot of tuning and toning of the muscles that has happened over the years, but as such, there's absolutely no increase in weight at all. Why? Because of all the habits that I've followed. And following this disciplinary practices only for 1 or 2 years will not make any sense. This has to become a way of life. I know this is very difficult in the beginning for you to achieve, but by time you're going to reach over there. Any kind of discipline, any kind of habit, for it to become a way of life, it's not possible in 1 month, 2 months, or 21 days or 21 months. It takes years and years of practice. See, to live and to feel alive is the biggest achievement. It's not that easy to live. It's really not that easy to live. I can understand. I can resonate to what you're thinking. It's very difficult for you to live and actually feel alive. But when you follow these small things that I've been telling you, that I'm going to share with you, life becomes much more simpler. You start enjoying life rather than cribbing about and crying about whatever is happening. So first one is the sleep cycle. Second one is the proper meal time that you have to allot for you to have breakfast, lunch and dinner. Third one, have a very good practice routine for yourself. Choose what kind of physical routine practice, either it may be yoga, the practice of asanas, or it may be a cardio workout, or it may be weightlifting, whatever it may be. Make sure you practice it at least 5 to 4 times in a week. Worst case, at least 3 times in a week. In the beginning, it's going to be very difficult for you to inculcate and develop this habit of wanting to work out, because you're physically lazy and mentally exhausted by the work that you've been doing and the family that you're involved in. I can totally relate to it. But you have to take out this time, at least 40 minutes, 50 minutes or 60 minutes. 3 days in a week, you have to take out and allot it and then practice for yourself. Walking doesn't count. If you are only above 60 or 65, or if you have some really bad injury where there's a lot of wear and tear in the knees, that's when I'd say, okay, go for a walk. Else, have a particular physical routine. Have a workout routine. Either practice yoga, either go for a run, not jog, run, or either pick up one or the other form of aerobics, whatever it may be. Have a particular routine which you can follow, by doing which you will feel as if there's a new wave of energy within you. There are a lot of blockages that happen within ourselves just because we do not work out at the physical level. The muscles, they are unused. All of the time you're just involving your brain and you're stressing it and pushing it to go beyond its limit. One particular day it'll just crack, it'll break, it'll stop working. You have to make sure all the systems inside you are working in synchronization with one another. That is very, very essential. If you do not work out, if you do not, make sure all the muscles, especially the nerves, and if there isn't any circulation of the blood, if there's no proper circulation of the blood to each and every part of the body, you start feeling heaviness within. You start feeling as if, there's a lot of baggage that you're carrying on the mental level also. Limitations at the physical level are carried forward into the mental level. All the physical limitations that you have with respect to the pains that you experience, with respect to one or the health issues that you have, when this prolongs for a long duration and you completely ignore it and you do not address it head on, all the physical limitations that are there at the physical level will move to the mental level and it will start disturbing you mentally. So for you to remain mentally peaceful and to at least experience some kind of silence, you have to make sure your physical body is fit. You can't expect to sit in silence and meditate when you can't even sit peacefully without having pain in the back, without the legs going numb even for 20 minutes. Make sure you give enough practice for your body to make sure it doesn't disturb you. If you sit to meditate and you start experiencing numbness here and there, you have pain, you can't sit, your back starts hurting, what's the use? Make sure you physically stimulate the muscles, nerves, bones, and make sure it's in a healthy condition. It hardly takes 30-40 minutes. If you're really devoted towards the practice, 1 hour, 30 minutes. I don't think it's that big of a thing for you to take out 1.5 hours in 1 week or 3 times in a week. You definitely spend a lot of time on social media, watching movies, doing one or the other thing. Cut that time and allot the same time for you to practice. Third thing, keep yourself physically fit. Start by practicing one or the other kind of routine. I myself have been practicing yoga for the last 10 years. A new wave of energy comes in you once you keep yourself physically active, either by yoga, either by cardio, either by running, either by whatever kind of physical fitness that you follow. For me, when I practice of yoga, there's a new wave of life that I experience. And that happens usually at the end of Shavasana or during the process of Shavasana. Shavasana is one of the best ways for you to connect to your inner core. A lot of ideas starts to come in, a new wave of energy comes in. You feel like as if you've let go, you've let all the stress that is there, all the thoughts that were disturbing you. You feel like you have disconnected and disengaged yourself from all these things. When this happens, you feel like, okay, I'm turning inwards. Most of you complain that you are not able to turn inwards and connect to who you are. Why? Because you're completely lost in what's happening outside. You're always, either associated with the family that you have or the work that you have or whatever responsibilities you have. You will always have that. There's no such thing that you'll be free of these things. You'll always have responsibilities until you die. Just accept the fact and then take out that 1 hour in a day and just spend that 1 hour for yourself. And then go back, then see for yourself how much productive you're going to become. A new wave of energy feels like there's a new life within you. Not keeping physically fit will make you mentally lazy at the highest level. That's exactly what's been happening during the COVID times also. You feel mentally frustrated. Why? Because there's no activity happening. Your body craves for activity. Your body craves, for the food. Stomach, you feed food. The food for the body is the exercise that you give it. Once you start working out, the body starts to smile on the inside. You always have a smile on your face when you eat something really delicious. If you really want to experience this throughout the body, you have to do the workouts. You have to practice yoga. When you practice yoga, each and every part of the body smiles inside out. Imagine, how people's face light up when they see a smile on your face. And imagine if that smile is all over your body. That's exactly what happens when you practice yoga. That's exactly what happens when you practice any kind of physical routine. Have a very strict physical routine. I myself dedicate at least 2.5 hours a day, 5 to 6 days in a week, specifically for the asana practice. Now, the fourth habit, take out at least 20 minutes, 3 or 4 days in a week, and sit in silence and see for yourself as to who you are. Or in other words, take 20 minutes in a week and meditate for yourself. Take 20 minutes, at least 3 days in a week, and sit in silence. It is very, very essential for you to meditate. If you don't know how to meditate, forget about everything. Just close your eyes in a particular day. Just take 20 minutes just before going to bed. Sit in silence, lean against the bed or lean against the wall. Sit, close your eyes and just sit in silence. There'll always be one or the other thing that's going to be bothering you. If you're someone who's been practicing or if you've been initiated into meditation or one or the other kind of relaxation that you usually practice for you to calm yourself down, well and good. Go ahead and practice it. But if you don't know anything, just close your eyes, don't do anything, sit in silence. Or find someone, learn meditation and start practicing it. By practicing meditation, you break the cycle of time. I'll be honest with you. That's exactly what happens even for me when I sit meditation. You feel like you are pausing time. The time stops. Literally the time stops. Or the time flies by if you've fallen asleep. Either one of these will happen. But when you sit in silence, when you close your eyes and start to meditate, you feel like the whole world is slowing down. See, you're always running with people. You're always running with whatever the work is happening. You're always on the run. Every day, you have to take some time off, sit, stop yourself here and physically and actually observe what is happening. Else, 10 years, you'll do one work and then all of a sudden on the 11th year, you'll realize, okay, is this what I've been doing for the last 10 years? You would have lost all the 10 years. Each and every day, you have to start contemplating as to what you're doing, where your life is leading. I myself take out at least 20 minutes, worst case 20 minutes. Usually it's about 40 minutes. Every day I sit in silence, I meditate either before going to the bed or during the work day itself. I usually take a break after lunch or before lunch. Most of the time before lunch, I sit, meditate, and then, every day this becomes a habit. Once you start to meditate, you feel like you're slowing down. Once you start experiencing this, feeling inside you that you're slowing down your life, automatically you'll bring down the aging process also. It doesn't matter even if you're 40 or 50, you look like you're in your 30s. It is very, very essential that you slow down, contemplate for you to shine inside out. If you do not slow down, if you're running all the time, it doesn't make any sense. And this shouldn't be done just once a month or once in 2 months or once in a year. This is the whole concept that we had even behind performing puja early in the morning and early in the evening. Why? Because that was the time that you used to spend with yourself and your favorite deity, what we call as Ishta Devata. You used to take that silence. Now that is gone. What's the best means? Take out the time and spend the time with yourself. Because if you don't spend the time with yourself, you will miss out on understanding who you are. You'll start accepting perceptions, you'll start accepting ideas of who you are from the people around you, but not from the inner calling. There's this person inside you who's waiting to explode. Why don't you just give him a chance? Why don't you let him express himself to the fullest? Why don't you respect him? It is very, very essential that we listen to our inner calling. Most of us, or most of you, keep pushing this inner calling and then end up doing things that you do not like at all through your life. You always have known that there's this one thing by doing which you would have realized, okay, this is the purpose of my life. And yet you do not do it. Why? Because, society, what will people think? What will others think? Forget about everything. Do that thing which makes you feel alive and pursue it. No one likes it, well and good. Be the first person. Because if you take up the responsibility of spreading the message of whatever you like, there are hundreds and thousands of others who are similar to you. There are hundreds and thousands of others who are exactly where you are, who exactly have this kind of mindset that you have. You'll start connecting with them. If you keep pushing yourself from doing things that you're actually born to do, and then you end up doing everything that doesn't synchronize with you, you always end up meeting wrong people. Have you wondered why you always meet the wrong individuals? This is why. Why? Because you aren't doing those things which you're born for. Once you start to do those things by which you start feeling alive, you start meeting every single person that you're meant to. You'll meet those people who are not just gonna, help you grow, they'll help you shine. They'll share energy with you. If you keep on meeting people who just, are sucking the energy out of you, who are not motivating you, who are not pushing you to understand and becoming a better version of who you are, stay away from them. You better stay single and wait for a couple of years in order to find the right person with whom you can share all these than being with the wrong people. There are always people over there waiting, eagerly to meet the right individuals, right friends, right partners, right mentors. All you have to do is take that one step. Start doing those things by which you start feeling alive. I feel alive, every time I practice yoga and then I wake up, I feel, okay, there's a new life that has born within me. Every time I practice for 3.5 hours or 4 hours, I feel like I'm reborn. Wouldn't you want to feel like this? Each and every one of us wish for this new wave of energy every single day when we open our eyes. All I'm asking is, why are you depriving yourself of this? Each and every one of you can feel alive. Each and every one of you can feel like as if you're going to conquer the world. The only thing that you have to do is start doing that thing by doing which you feel alive. by doing which you feel like you're fulfilling your life's purpose. Wealth, abundance, all these things just comes naturally. Find that thing that you're born for, do it, finish it, and see how you grow through the process. It is very, very essential that you do this. The fifth one, the type of people that you associate with. This is what we call as satsang. Satsang means spending the time in the company of the like-minded individuals. It is very, very essential for each one of us to spend time with those people who make us feel like we are alive. We always spend time with family. We always spend time with loved ones. Why? Because we feel comfortable. We feel like, okay, there's nothing to hide. But you have to have your own circle around you, what we call as the social life, or what we call as the first circle or the second circle of friends or family or mentors. It is very, very essential that we choose these people very carefully. Once we have the right people around us, which is going to be possible only after meeting a lot of wrong individuals. I completely agree with that. Once you have the right people around you, they start sharing their energy with you. You feel alive. You feel like, these individuals around you are making your day every single day when you meet them. How many of you have, this sadness within you when you go to the office and you see the people's faces whom you don't like? What's the whole point of even working over there? When you meet people, when you greet people, energy exchange happens. And I'm always careful with respect to whom I meet, with whom I share this energy with. When you have the right people around you and you start having a conversation, their energy comes to you and you feel more alive than before. A lot of productive ideas exchange happens, as a result of which you feel like, okay, you're fulfilling your life's purpose. You feel alive. You feel like, okay, I have the right people around me. Once you start feeling the people around you are just sucking your energy and not enhancing your energy, that's when you start feeling like, okay, I'm aging. Why? Because you feel like all the energy that is in you is being drained out. When the energy in you starts to drain out, and because of the negativity and everything that is there around the people and the situations that they create, you feel like, okay, I'm dying on the inside. But when you meet the right individuals and they pump up the energy within you, you feel like, okay, I'm alive. You feel like you're growing younger by age. Most people grow old by age by practice of yoga, by practicing all these things that I've told you. You start growing younger by age. And this is the secret. So be very, very careful with respect to whom you meet, with respect to whom you have a conversation, and with respect to whom you spend quality time with. It's a very famous quote. Small minds discuss people, average minds discuss situations, great minds discuss ideas. Be in the great mind category. Discuss ideas. Why? Because that's when you feel alive. The whole purpose of being born is so that you could feel alive. Why would you want to miss out on that opportunity? Why would you deprive yourself of this? Feel alive, live, love. Most importantly, experience and experiment everything that is there about yourself. Dig deep within you for you to understand who you are and follow these 5 principles. If this was informative, do let me know what you felt in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and share among those interested.